Let me shift gears, as they say. I have a moment with Bob here that I want to share with you. And this is slightly different, so listen up. Hey, Mike. On August 22nd, 2011, we woke up at our new home in Canada. So this Saturday, we're celebrating our 9th Canadian anniversary. At first, it was low to mid-level crazy. In a couple of weeks, my son was going into the 6th grade, and my wife would be going to Simon Fraser University to get her graduate degree. All our stuff were in boxes, ready or not, here we go. 5 years later, July 23rd, 2016, we became permanent residents of Canada. What does having permanent resident status mean? Basically, we had most of the rights and privileges of a Canadian citizen, except we couldn't vote. But that changed 3 years later on September 5th, 2019, when we became Canadian citizens and were able to vote in the election held the following month. I was thinking about the past 9 years, making a list of the high points of our Canadian life, and here's the very best thing that's happened since we've moved up here. When we first arrived, my son was 11 years old. Now he's 20. Months ago, we were talking, and I asked him, "What were your first memories?" He described moments that happened when he was somewhere between 2 and 3. And then I asked him, "How old were you when you began having contiguous memories?" And he said somewhere around the time when he was 5. Cool. He has 6 years of U.S. memories and 9 years of Canadian memories. As he gets older, the percentage of his U.S.-based memories will shrink relative to his Canadian memories. That's why we moved here. Why is that so important? Because the majority of his memories will not be of living in a country that has lost its goddamn mind. At this very moment, the United States is so profoundly effed up that it will take 20 to 30 years to un-eff it up. This, of course, is based on the premise that Trump and his handlers/minions will be removed this November, and the generation-long repair job can begin. And it's debatable if it will ever begin. We moved here so my son wouldn't have to live through that kind of reconstruction. We thought the United States had become uninhabitable because, honest-to-God, war criminals were never prosecuted. Any country that would turn a blind eye to that is capable of doing anything. Who wants to wait around to see what anything might mean? Not us. As it turned out, anything meant an American carnage. If there is such a thing as irony when talking about what has come to pass since a game show host became president of the United States, it is this. The president, in his inauguration speech, blamed what he called the American carnage on the previous administration. What we did not know at the time was that he, his handlers and minions, and his administration had plans to initiate a heretofore unimaginable American hellscape during his first term. We have dual citizenship now. We will vote in the election held in 75 days. My son will be voting for the first time. From across the border, we will add to the movement that will guarantee Donald Trump will not get a second term. Regards from beautiful British Columbia, Bob. Yeah. Yeah. I just have a hard time, truth seekers, getting my mind around some of the actions taken by this filthy, evil Trump administration. I have trouble getting my mind around any action they take, but some are so horrific that it's just, I can't. And that sets up this wave of rage and frustration that you hear when I get enraged and frustrated. And it's not my child that's being taken. I just don't know. I don't know what to say about some of this stuff, you know? I can sit here and rant and rave, and as I have for the past year, use the kind of gutter language that does absolutely nothing except, I don't know, turn people off. I don't know. But to what end? I mean, I question. I question myself all the time, and the question usually falls along the lines of, what are you doing? What are you doing with your podcast? What do you hope to, if anything, accomplish? What are you doing, Malloy? And I guess it just gets down to, if I don't keep talking about this to an audience I never see. You know, I sit in our little adapted Daniel Scapin studio here in the foothills of the North Georgia mountains, and I talk into a microphone, and I'm looking at a computer screen, and I don't know if 1 or 100 or 1,000 or 5,000, whatever the number. I have no idea if anybody hears this. I really don't. Well, I know that some people hear it because we have subscribers. And you could become one if you're not. No, it's not a segue into a commercial. I'm just saying subscribers are what we need. And you can become one at MikeMalloy.com. But when I do this podcast and I think, what is your advantage, Mike? And I guess my advantage in doing this is that it's like a release valve, right? Like a valve stem in an inner tube, where you let the air out, right? Because I don't know what I would do if I couldn't discuss this with my invisible audience. Now, what do you get out of this program, this podcast? I have no idea. I hope it's something, and I hope you'll continue to stay with me, especially because of what's coming on November 3rd. Prepare and remember for the 3rd of November, because what's coming on November 3rd is not going to be pleasant at all. Actually, November 4th is when the unpleasantness will begin. Full scale. So I hope you'll be prepared. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast, or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.